I'm Charlie McKenna with Lillie's Q, and today we're going to talk about tying roast or tying whole fillets or tying whole pork loins. I see a lot of people out there where they take the butcher's twine and they're tying individual circles down the roast. I'm going to show you a little bit easier way to do this. So the idea behind tying a roast is you're always trying to make the roast even all the way throughout. So the size of the roast should be the same size on this side as it is on this side. The reason we do this is because we want it to have even cooking throughout while you cook. As we start with this roast, you can see this is a nice pork loin. Beautiful color, nice intermuscular marbling. So we try to buy the best products we can. So this is a heritage breed pig that we got from a small farm in Illinois. The loin obviously is one of the bigger pieces that you can cook out of a hog. Next comes into play, we have this butcher's twine, all right? This twine is great for tying sausages, tying up roast. But as you can see, what I'm gonna basically do is pull off a bunch of this so that I can make sure that I have enough to do the roast. It's obviously a little bit of a guess, and I'll pull it back over here. I do not cut it off the whole twine. One, because I don't want to waste some. Two, I also want to make sure that I have enough twine connected because it helps with the weight. You have your twine here, as you can see. First thing I'm going to do is actually I am going to go around the roast on the fatter end of the roast. So this end is fatter and this end is skinnier. So I'm going to be trying to smooth out the meat this way to try to make it as even as possible. So first thing I do is tie the end piece. As I go around, I tie this down. I also wrap it around once, then twice, right? Then you can kind of cinch this thing up, right? You want to do it somewhat tight, but not so tight that the rope really starts to cut into the meat, all right? So we get this end piece nice and tied. You can leave this strand here or you can trim it off a little bit. I don't like to trim it too short because sometimes it'll slip through the knot. Now you still have the twine connected. The first thing I do is I pull a little extra and I wrap it around my hand like this, and then I turn my hand once, I turn my hand twice, and I have this circle, right? This piece is still connected. I can lay this piece down and now I start to move the circle into the spot that I want it, right? It has now made this little slip knot, all right? So as you pull this tight, the roast starts to get tied up. You can see there's now a piece of twine in between the two circles that are tying the roast. So as I pull this up, I kind of jockey it over. I try to make this twine that's on top of the roast, you can see here, I'll try to make this twine go straight down all the way so it's in the same line. I also try to make the circles nice and even apart. That helps disperse the meat nice and evenly. So I'll use my fingers to cinch this down. Again, I'll hold this piece up, wrap it around my hand, twist once, twist twice, lay this piece down, go over to the next circle. As you start to pull the piece connected again, you cinch it tight, right? You try to line up that line. You'll get it there. Pull it tight again. As you can see, hopefully the circles are getting nice and even apart. I'll twist once, twist twice again. Come down. Pull it underneath. Try to make sure that you're trying to do it as even as possible. One of the things I do as even as possible is because, one, I just like the meat to look very pretty when we're roasting it in the oven, so when it comes out, the presentation is very nice. Again, you're doing the same thing, once, twice, laying one down, slipping the circle over, pulling this nice and tight, even out the circle again, make sure the line is in line, and then I use my fingers just to kind of pinch it tight when it gets close to the meat. Once, twice, down again. And you can see that the roast has brought together a little bit and starts to pull in like an more even circle than it was, nice and tight on the end. Again, slide down, cinch. We're gonna do this one, plus we'll do one more, and then I'll show you how to like tie it off a little bit. I want to make sure it's on the bottom is even as well. Pinch once, twice, pull all the way down. We'll pull this one tight. We'll move this one a little bit farther away so it's the last one. And then we'll pinch nice and tight, right? Now this is still connected. What I'll do is I'll trim off a little bit. Sometimes what you can do is you can take this piece to tie through the end, wrap under one of the circles, a second circle, and then I'll just tie it off like a little knot, like you were tying your shoe. So now you have it tied together. You can flip this back over. As you can see, once we're done tying, the roast is much more even, it's much more circular, so the cooking method will be much more on the same time, as well as you have a nice tied roast all the way down with only using one piece of string. So as you can see, it's much faster and much easier if you do it this way than tying each individual circle around the meat, right? As well as it looks like a nice tied roast from the butcher shop. The excess twine you can wrap back up and use on sausages or more roast that you're gonna tie. But that's basically trussing a roast or fillet or any type of long piece of meat that you're trying to make more even and cook more evenly. For more tips, recipes, and products, check us out at lilliesq.com or follow us on YouTube and Instagram.